All right, welcome into still got the music. Welcome to the starting nine here on the Five Reasons YouTube channel. The music will start eventually. Eventually, there we go. Our producer today is Manny. All right, we're going to try this again. Ethan Skolnick here on starting nine. Oh, good. Everything's synced up now. We got our producer, Manny Chang. Got some of your comments that we're going to put up throughout the course of the show. A little bit of a false start, but that reminds me. All right, let's see if the third time is a charm here. Manny, do you hear me? I don't know if he hears me or not, but maybe somebody out there will hear me. There we go. He hears me. All right, we're going to get started here again. Again, apologize for the couple of false starts here. I'm Ethan Skolnick. You can follow me at Ethan J. Skolnick and at Five Reasons Sports. Our producer is Manny Chang today. Plenty of content here throughout the day. Jeff Farr's show is already up on the air. They talk about subjects similar to what I'm going to talk about today. We have a couple different sponsors in them, though. I do want to mention the sponsors here at the top, or what is relatively close to the top. I want to mention our friends are at UBreak Wheel Fix. You can find them at UBreakWheelFix.com, 305-748-0112. We know that the streets of South Florida are in bad condition right now, especially if you live in Broward County. I had a problem with mine. Who did I reach out to? I reached out to Mark. Reach out to Mark and his crew over at UBreak Wheel Fix. You can find them again in North Miami, 305-748-0112. They can fix your wheels, but also they can refinish your wheels. They can give you the powder coating. They can give you the heat colors, the dolphin colors, the Canes colors. They got them all there. Go to UBreakWheelFix.com. That's 305-748-0112. Mention Five Reasons, and you will get a discount. Also, check out our other sponsor, All Pro Construction Builders. You can find them at allproconstructionbuilders.com. You saw the flooding here. You saw what was going on in South Florida. Imagine what a hurricane's going to be like. Make sure you get those storm windows, those storm doors. Danny and the crew down there, they're all over the state right now. They're down in the Keys, but they can handle everything from down in the Keys all the way up the coast. They service Broward County, Dade County, Monroe County. They use American-made, locally made products, and it's a family business, and they're just good people. And they're huge Miami Heat fans. This is our friend Marker of UBreak Wheel Fix. So reach out to All Pro Construction Builders at allproconstructionbuilders.com. You can find the phone number there. That's Danny's personal cell. Again, it's 305-484-4429. And again, mention Five Reasons. You get a discount there as well. Get a discount on those storm windows before hurricane season starts. All right, let's get to it because we started here a little bit late. The Miami Heat are playing Milwaukee Bucks tonight. We know that. They lead 1-0 in the series. We know that. Tyler Hero is out for the remainder of the series and likely for the remainder of the playoffs and is having surgery. We know that. The only thing we don't know is if Giannis is going to play tonight. And there was a bit of a curveball that was thrown last night because all the reports out of Milwaukee, and including from Mike Budenholzer's own mouth, was that Giannis was going to play. That no, he did not practice. He couldn't go through the full practice because what he's dealing with a back issue after falling the other night. but that they were optimistic that he was going to play in this game. And then all of a sudden, he's listed as doubtful on the injury report. Now, we know that teams lie on injury reports. The Sixers a couple of years ago got fined for this. The Heat got fined for it because they said that they didn't have enough players on the injury report. So the Heat went out and put everybody on the injury report the next game to kind of troll the NBA. You can make a change to the injury report, and a change could be made today. But what you can't do is go through this entire day doubtful, and then all of a sudden he appears on the court. So there's going to have to be some kind of a decision made by the Bucks today on whether or not they upgrade him to at least questionable, or whether or not they sort of endure the wrath of the league, or how they handle this situation. But one way or another, Giannis' status seems to be in some, to use the word, doubt today. And so we did a whole episode yesterday. We did on 5 on the Floor to post here shortly about whether or not the Heat can be the 6th, 8th seed to win a series against a 1 seed, and what they have in common with some of the other teams that have won, and what the Bucks have in common with some of the teams that have lost. But in the case of the teams that have lost, an injury has sometimes affected it. Now, the Bulls and Sixers in 2012, an injury really affected it because Derrick Rose blew out his knee in the first game, and they were the number 1 seed, and that changed the whole tenor of the series. We don't expect Giannis is going to miss the entire series, but the Heat are coming in now off 2 days rest. They don't have Hero, but they've had some time to adjust. And if the Bucks don't have Giannis, then things do change. Now, the Bucks were a plus 500 team without Giannis this year, but they lost both games to Miami. They lost both games to Miami without Giannis. They lost them back-to-back in Miami. Gabe Vincent went nuts in both games, if you remember, starting in place of Kyle Lowry. And the games weren't all that close, actually. One of them was really not close. Miami was able to kind of run away from them a little bit. And look, there are different challenges when Giannis is not there. Middleton's going to get more touches and shots. Holiday's going to get more touches and shots. We see that Bobby Portis plays a bigger role. I would definitely play him over in Prize Picks. Use that code 5, FIVE, get that initial deposit match up to $100. I played Portis last time. I'm on a 6-day winning streak on Prize Picks, so you should be following me right now because it doesn't last very long usually. Use the code 5, FIVE, get the initial deposit match of $100. And you can get it from prizepicks.com, Google Play Store, the Apple App Store. But the thing about Portis is, again, he's going to give you that offense, but he's not going to give you the defense necessarily that Giannis does. And also, there's more of a reliance on Brook Lopez to do more things. And Brook is great these days when he stays in his lane. When you ask him to do too much, sometimes that doesn't work out very well. Also, Milwaukee's bench is a little bit depleted. They're not going to have Wes Matthews for this game. He's kind of their 10th man, but he kind of bumps up to their 9th man against the Heat because he does a very good job guarding Jimmy Butler, and he seems to be the only guy on this team who can. Jimmy was sizing up everybody, including Drew Holiday in the last game and including Middleton. Matthews is a guy who gives him some trouble because he knows him so well. They went to the same school, but also he's very physical with him, and that's one of the things if you're going to play Jimmy, you have to be. So they're not going to have Matthews, not the hugest deal, but it matters to some degree. The Heat are not going to have Hero. But if they don't have Giannis, then there is a path here for Miami. And again, winning 4 games against this team, with or without Giannis, and I'm expecting Giannis to be back at some point, even if it's not tonight, is going to be very, very challenging. But they don't look dominant without him. They're just a good team. And look, the other thing is, if you go back a couple of years, 3 years, remember Giannis got hurt in that playoff series, predicting Heat in 5. I don't think so, although I know others have. If you go back to that playoff series 3 years ago, the one that the Heat won, remember, Giannis did get hurt during that series. Now, Miami was ahead already and would have won that series anyway. I firmly believe that. But obviously, it made things a little bit easier. The difference there was Middleton started to really chuck up a ton of shots and put up a ton of points. So how do you handle a team without Giannis? Well, first thing, again, I would expect that Bobby Portis will start if Giannis does not start. So you have to control him because he is an energy player and he's a very good offensive player at this stage. And he gives him something different than what Giannis does. Like I said, the ball will be in Middleton's hands more often. He has already put up a 30-plus point game against Miami in this series. He seems to have rounded himself into shape. He's playing much more than the 24 minutes he averaged during the regular season when he only played 32 games. They're going to have to handle him. But again, Giannis is a different project here, right? And if Bam is available to shade over to other guys and switch out. I know that drives some Heat fans crazy, but if he's available for more things, that will help Miami, and he can be more available when they don't have Giannis, because they've had to put Bam on Giannis, and we saw that the Heat, in terms of the shuffling their starting lineup, were kind of just taking their chances with Brook Lopez. Now, if they don't have Giannis, then Bam can pretty much shade over to Brook or to Portis, whoever is doing more damage at the time. And also, he can switch out onto Middleton and onto Holiday. It just gives you many, many more options. I don't know that it will change what the Heat do with their starting lineup. My feeling and Greg's feeling is that they're going to start Duncan Robinson. And the reason that Spoelstra would start Duncan Robinson is that it just keeps his bench rotation intact. So he likes doing that. So he keeps Caleb Martin with Kevin Love and Kyle Lowry. Doesn't change that. Now, the other options are he could start Oladipo, but then you got a spacing issue. And a pounding the ball issue. He could start Haywood Highsmith and move Strus to the 2. That wouldn't affect his backup rotation. But again, I think you're more likely to maybe start Highsmith if Porter starts than if Giannis starts, right? Highsmith will accept the challenge of guarding Giannis. That's kind of what he does, is accept those kind of defensive challenges, and he guards up. But I think more likely to maybe put him in the starting lineup if it's Portis and you're not dealing with Giannis. The other option is to move Caleb Martin to the starting lineup. And I don't know how that would be affected by Giannis playing or not playing. My feeling is that Spoelstra will be reluctant to do that again because he doesn't want to break up the bench core, which has been really good. Love, Lowry, and Martin have a significant plus rating together in the minutes that they've played, and that's kind of why Eric Spoelstra has settled on this. So let's pivot right here, and then we'll let everybody get on to the rest of their day, and we'll have plenty of content on here. Prize Pick shows. We'll have a pregame show later tonight, postgame show. Of course, we'll be on Playback as well, so check that out, playback.tv. And it's now playback.tv/5RSN, and you'll find our page. That's the number 5RSN. But, could you imagine if Giannis does not play tonight, if the Heat steal this game, and if they then have 2 days off going home to Miami with a 2-0 lead in the series, and Giannis' status will be somewhat in doubt? I know that the natural inclination now for the Heat is to relax, and I would understand it. Okay, they went up there, they got the one game, they lost Tyler Hero, they got 2 days off up there. You got the one, okay, we're satisfied. But the Giannis thing changes stuff a bit. And we know that the Heat sometimes relax when the other players' stars are not in. But playoff series are different. You've got an opportunity to grab this one by the throat, and maybe you just will. So I don't think it will affect the starting lineup much, but it will affect some of the coverages if he doesn't play. And obviously more of the attention will be shaded to Middleton. I figure you get some help for Jimmy on Middleton, but you pretty much make that his assignment. And you can still do that even with the shuffling of the starting lineup. One of the things that was kind of weird the other night was Reggie Miller kept talking about how the Heat were suffering defensively going from Hero to Duncan Robinson. Now, with all due respect to Tyler, is he a better defender than Duncan? Probably off the ball, yes. Is he hunted also? Yes. So did that make too much of a difference? No, not on the defensive end. And so I do think defensively the Heat can do a lot of the things they were doing, even with even if Robinson isn't for Hero. Broham says prediction for tonight to bet in the opposite direction. So you want me to say they're going to lose? I'll say they lose. Okay. The spread, I believe, for the first game was 9.5 on Better Edge. I don't know what it'll be right now. It's probably off the board because of Giannis' situation. If you do want to bet it, you can go to betteredge.com, use that code 5RSN, get $20 to play. I do think they lose tonight, but I think they lose tonight for the same reason that we saw Phoenix win last night. The game 2, after the road team gets the game 1, the game 2 is really difficult to win on the road. It just is. The fans come with a different mindset. You're kind of trying to save the series. The players do too. The officials shade that direction. We even saw that last night with Scott Foster, who usually is Chris Paul's kryptonite, and that wasn't enough to stop Phoenix from winning game 2. I think you see a similar scenario tonight. The series have pretty much played out the way we've expected in the East. Cleveland and New York is very balanced, but again, you saw that in the game 2, right? New York came in, they got 1, relaxed a little bit in game 2. Cleveland took control early, got better play out of Garland and some others, and won. Atlanta series, the Nets series, we knew those teams were overmatched. So once the home team won the first game, then they won the second game as well. I would be really surprised if Miami wins this game, even if Giannis is out. So if that's what you guys want me to say, I will say it. But I will also say that Jimmy Butler is the one guy, okay, that I think would look at this situation and say, I'm going to put my stamp on this thing now. This comes in from Campo. Do I think this will be a big Bam game? It's affected in some part by whether Giannis plays. That's the one thing that's affected because Bobby Portis is not an elite defender. They have a lot of elite defenders. He's not one of them. He's okay, but he's not Giannis. He's not, especially as a weak side defender. And we were at the point in the last game where we were saying on playback that at some point they just need to put Giannis on Jimmy and try to neutralize him. Well, you may not even have that option tonight. So we'll see how it plays out. Go to Prize Picks, use code 5, FIVE. I'm not picking a Heat win tonight. I'm simply saying that things got a little bit more interesting. We'll see how it goes. All right, thanks to our producer, Manny Chang. Apologize for the hiccups here early. Plenty of content on the site all throughout the day. Have a good day, everybody.